So our next speaker, make sure I'm going in line, is Ms. Dalinda Guillen, Executive Director here at the great city of Rio Grande City.
Thank you, Daniel. Well, the mayor did an excellent summary of our community and where we're going in the next several years. We have had the opportunity to work with Daniel and his team on these commercial tours, and when asked, we said absolutely, we want to bring people back to come and look at our community because we are part of the Rio Grande Valley, one region, one voice. And so last year, some of our guests had an opportunity to see all of the activity happening here in Rio Grande City, and we'll touch a little bit on that momentarily, but if you have an opportunity to drive around some of those areas that if you were with us last year, had a chance to tour, you'll see that progress has been made. And it doesn't happen without the support of our leadership. Our mayor and commission and our EDC board of directors are very, very determined to make sure that we are doing the very best that we can to help our community grow. And of course, the dynamic team of city staff that make it happen, because it doesn't happen on its own. I was in a community yesterday with another city group and just watching them move throughout the day. It was exciting to see because I see it every day with our different departments within the city, our planning, administration, public utility, finance, public works, IT. And so when we're all putting our effort into making our community better, you see it, and you drive through our community today and you'll see it. I'm gonna go ahead and share with you just a couple of slides to tell you where we've been and where we're going. And I once again thank you for coming back to Rio Grande to see where we continue to grow and make the valley the best place to live and to work. So we'll go ahead and see some flowers. Our beautiful logo, Rio Grande City EDC, don't forget it. We're part of the beautiful Rio Grande City community, and we like to believe that we are connected and growing, and we are. By all means, you see that. Just some basic demographics. I know that Rose will do a summary of the county. While these numbers aren't as impressive as you'll see later, I will say that our population reach is far greater than what the census has us in the books for, because we live in an excellent location along the Texas-Mexico border that brings in plenty of people into our area. So the daytime population is incredible. And so, we also have a very young population throughout the county, and in our community that right now is at 29. And so I'm thinking back what I was doing at 29, and just knowing the young audience that we have here today, this is what makes up Rio Grande City. So it shows a lot of potential for the workforce, and so we're very proud about that. And of course, our labor workforce numbers up there. We continue to work with our partners at Workforce Solutions, as well as our cities and counties, to make improvements to our workforce demographics as well as the unemployment rate. And so for now we're at single digits, but we used to be at a far larger number that I don't want to mention because that might just spook these really good numbers that we have today. But nonetheless, we have, as the mayor said, a workforce that is ready to work. So let's take the next slide. And then as far as sales tax revenue, Mayor Varela said it best, you know, it's been a record year for everything sales tax, no doubt about it, that people are spending, where are you, Daniel? They're spending right here in Rio Grande City, and that's what we want to see. And so the work, the day in and day out work for Rio Grande and Roma and the county is to make sure that we provide those options for our community to be able to stay here, not have to go to Mission or McAllen or Edinburgh, although we are still one region, one voice, and we can't get everything we want here, but we still see a considerable growth, and so that people in our community are able to shop locally. So it's one of our major drivers for sales tax and our sales revenue. And then I'm gonna go ahead and show some updates since the last visit. For those of you that joined us then, you'll see a couple of things up on the screen that you might remember. One of those, obviously, and over on the east end of the community is the Tractor Supply area at Rio Grande, Tractor Supply store that opened up at Rio Grande Village. That whole area, when you came, there were still some buildings going up. You know, I think that since then we've had Tractor Supply and Wendy's. We've got a Take 1 or Take 5 oil shop under construction right now. And then we have others that are also in the process of getting their permits through the city. So we'll be making those announcements as they're ready to release that information. So there's no doubt that that area continues to grow significantly, and now as we look at 755 in that area, we see the potential for commercial growth going north. But when we started last year, we actually were right here on this road, 3167, and I took you to go see what is currently under construction, a medical development project in partnership with DHR Health. And this expansive project is a complement to the residency program that the mayor spoke of earlier. We've got about 4 or 5 building permits that are going to be reviewed very soon with the city of Rio Grande City, one of those being a clinic for those medical residents. And there's no doubt that the healthcare industry is very important to us in the Rio Grande Valley as a whole. Knowing that we have the opportunity to grow our healthcare workforce right here in Rio Grande makes me very proud, because having worked in the healthcare industry myself, I know the importance of making sure that our family and friends receive the care that they need right here close to home. So this provides an excellent opportunity to grow our workforce in the medical industry. And so we've got, you know, a lab, clinics, research facility. And speaking of research, who would have thought that Rio Grande would be on the map for Alzheimer's research in the country? And so I have to applaud Dr. Falcon and his team for El Faro that is doing amazing work today to make sure that we're studying the disease and that we're working towards its advancement in care. And so there's no doubt that we will be leading in research for our area. And so this is something we have to all be very proud of. Again, one region, one voice. So this is not just a win for Rio Grande, it's actually a win for the valley. Next slide. And of course, when you drive by, you take a look, you'll see a lot of trucks out there. Well, I don't know, it's a little muddy today, but there's a lot of the infrastructure going up today, and so take a look at that on your way out. One of the things we did mention, but we did not get to see firsthand last year, was the port of entry. As you know, we have a crossing right here in Rio Grande that it opens up the gateway to international commerce, and we are very, very proud to work with Mr. Bale and the Starr Bridge Company to expand those opportunities for our community. In fact, he has received congressional authorization to expand his port by multiple lanes. And so that is something we are looking forward to, because that'll allow for traffic, especially commercial traffic, to get through our port of entry a lot faster, even though they already meet a pretty good record time of crossing right here at this port of entry. But more importantly is, besides the expansion opportunities that Starr Company brings to Rio Grande, as a city, we're also identifying the need to improve the transportation in and out of our international port, and also take it to what is a project that everyone knows as State Loop 195. So we have received information from TxDOT that this project here will be letting out in August of 2025. And right now, as we speak, we've got TxDOT in our office meeting with property owners that are finalizing those last 10 loops to get this project going further along Rio Grande. But the very first part of this project starts up right, well, you can't see it from here, but the previous image, from our port of entry out to the connection of State Loop 195, and then it'll come out to what is right here, this road 3167, just short of reaching our airport, and then continues out to 649, and then out to Loma Blanca, outside of Roma. So we're very, very proud that this project is finally moving along and funded. Most importantly, for those economic developers and city leaders in the room, funded because it's important. Can't do nothing, you can't do much without money, and so we have to make sure as advocates for our communities that we're letting our leaders know the importance of this project, and thankfully all those efforts have paid off because we finally have some money on the table to get this thing going. Next slide. And then of course having this loop also encourages and promotes the international trade opportunities that we have with our international crossing. And I know we talked a little bit about cold storage and dry storage, and while Roma has a project in the works that they will talk to you about in a bit, we in Rio Grande have several locations where customers currently go to store their goods. And so we kind of laid it out here on the map, and we feel like this is really important to know. Right around this area, well actually right about here, you've got the international crossing. So if you see these dots here on the map, those are right along that route for State Loop 195. But then you have that opportunity on Highway 83 that takes you east, and some of these companies are up here. These are all privately owned. We don't have a city project yet for this, but it's something that we're working towards. And we know that there is a need, and so we're working with the private sector to make sure that they're ready and prepared to take in any of those clients that are seeking storage right here in Rio Grande City. Next slide. And I can't go without saying, if you drove to get here, chances are you drove through our downtown, unless Google took you somewhere else. But our downtown is Main Street recognized 7 years in a row, and we are very, very proud of the history and the culture that resides in our community. And so we do what we can to promote our downtown area, because we feel as development moves north, we cannot forget where it all started. This is where it started. I can think back to family telling stories of their upbringing in our downtown, and it's changed a lot. I mean, there has been new properties that have been redeveloped, but there's still a lot that has maintained that character and quality that we want to see in our downtown. And so through our Main Street program, we're helping some of these property owners make those improvements and keep those buildings looking beautiful and preserved. But we have the opportunity to work with the Texas Historic Commission on this website called downtowntx.org, and that's where they list all of the properties in the communities, in historic communities in Texas that are available for investment. So if you have an eye for DIY projects, you might want to take a look at the opportunities that we have in our historic district, because there are are some that are up for sale. One that just sold a couple of weeks ago, I'm very proud of, because I can't wait to see how they transition that building back to life. So nonetheless, I encourage you to look at this site. We do have all of our city listings. I'm not sure if Roma has them up here or not. They do? Okay, well, that's something you want to do, because this goes out, on the web and is promoted internationally, and there's people that have a passion for historic preservation, and so this is where you find those project opportunities. And then Rio Grande City has a municipal airport. We do not land these big, commercial planes like McAllen does, but we do have some clients that come into the community and have the convenience of flying into our airport, and we don't know how far we'll grow with this, but we have plans with the Airport Advisory Board to expand as much as we can to make it a convenience for those that are seeking to travel into Rio Grande by way of jets. And trust me, I don't know anything about private planes, but they have to be of a certain size to be able to land in our runway. But nonetheless, this is a convenience, and I really feel that with the medical community developing here in Rio Grande, that we will see perhaps even doctor specialists that fly their own plane into Rio Grande to come and see their patients. So this is something our advisory board for the airport is looking at very carefully, and so you'll see some activity on that front soon. And so why Rio Grande? Well, because it's the best. No, I'm kidding. No, not we offer a whole lot, and our team here in Rio Grande, that includes many different departments of the city, are here to help. And so we make it as convenient as possible for you to find information on our community on the EDC website, which is rgcedc.com. We have some features that not everybody is familiar with, but you should know. We have a site selection tool. We also have a demographic and research tool that is really fascinating, because we get the calls and we don't mind running those reports, but you can do that on your own at your convenience whenever you want, day or night. So this is an excellent tool also for those that are studying the market, wanting to know a little bit more about what our community looks like as far as the numbers. But on the site selection tool, we have the ability to showcase some of the properties that are available, and so if you are interested in taking a look at those, it's a very easy tool. It's got mapping features there, and it's got photos and listings, and you click and it can even pull up the demographics for that specific location. And if you're a broker in the room, you're familiar with all of these Esri tools that help you market your property. So we're very proud to have that on our site. And that's a wrap for me, but let me conclude by introducing you to one very important person who is always very helpful to our EDC team, and that is our planning director, Mr. Gilbert Milan. I think it's important for you to know that our city is pro-business and very business-friendly. Gilbert has received many praises in public about his work and the team that the planning office does in the city to make sure that you get from inception of your project to the final stages of opening. And so I'm gonna let Gilbert come up here just so you can see him and you know who he is, because if you have any specific questions about how and where to start with your construction in Rio Grande, he's the person you want to talk to. So join me up here, Gilbert.
Thank you. Sorry I didn't have anything prepared, but like Dalinda said, we're always willing to talk to you, anybody who's willing to invest in Rio Grande City. Try to make it easy. I give my cell phone to anybody, call me anytime, weekend, no matter what. As long as we can move the projects, we're willing to help. And thank you for your support.
Thank you. It's really easy to work with it. Of course, if you have questions about any properties or any procedures of the city, you can always reach our office, and I'm always gonna give Gilbert a call if it's any technical question regarding construction and development. But that's it for me. I'm happy to introduce our neighbors, who I'm very proud to have join us on this tour, and hope that it becomes a regular event for our community. The city of Roma is here to present, and I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Alfonso Ramirez with the City of Roma Economic Development Corporation.